All right, another later night pickup here. I guess it's only 5:25, but it's already getting dark. So we're picking up a 2006 Yamaha YFZ450. I guess the guy only owned it for a little bit of time, and now he's selling it because he said it was puffing out white smoke, and he heard like a ticking to it. He posted it for like $2,900. So I ended up getting the guy down to $1,850 on it. From $29 to $1,850. I offered, I think it was $16 first. He said no, he needs $2,000. And then I said, what about, $17? He said no, he needs $1,900 at least. And I said $1,850. He's like, come get it for $1,850. So we negotiated a little bit back and forth, and we decided on $1,850. So I'm heading over there right now. We've got about a 45-minute drive. We're gonna see what's wrong with this thing. He thinks it might be the head gasket or something like that. If it's a head gasket, that would be a super simple fix, but there's that ticking sound too, so I don't know what that would be. But we'll investigate once we get there. So you actually bought this from me. That's crazy. And you only rode it a couple times?
Yeah.
Huh.
The fan didn't kick on the last time, and it's blowing a bunch of white smoke.
That's weird. Yeah, it looks really nice.
Put a new bumper on it, new front tires on it.
Huh. Yeah, it looks like brand new tires. You even ride them with those?
I don't
It looks like it maybe one ride on them.
Let's see back.
Huh.
Repacked the silencer. Yeah.
So how many times do you get to ride it?
Three times for 5 minutes.
Really? All of a sudden it started blowing white smoke, or?
Yeah, I mean, the red light went on, and then it started smoking and ticking, and I shut it off.
Wow. What, can I just try to start it?
Sure.
See what it sounds like?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. Ooh, that sounds like crank. Yeah. Huh. Will it fire up eventually, or not really?
I mean, if the charger was on it,
Okay.
I could put it on there if you want me to put it back on there.
I think it'll. Let's just see. See what that wheel looks like here.
I don't know about that. That was full, like, to the rim.
Looks clear. It's not milky or anything. Huh. Looks like brand new oil, kind of.
Yeah, I think I might have.
Did you change it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
On the filter.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where it's leaking antifreeze.
It was leaking antifreeze?
Well, no, it wasn't. I just don't know where it's going. I mean, obviously it's getting burnt.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Reservoir, it doesn't really hold it in that reservoir.
That's weird, because the oil's not milky. Well, at least from what I see.
I mean, I looked into this a while ago, and, just like you just said, it's not like chocolate milk
No.
or anything like that, so I was gonna put the water pump in it.
Okay.
But then there was like no reason to do it because it wasn't leaking anything.
Yeah, and it's not milky in the oil.
Starts back.
Yeah, what the heck? I think I did the water pump seal in this. Because those always go out right away on the YFZs. Yeah, it's not leaking anything around the head either. Where would that be coming from? Maybe a ring got stuck, or
What's
and
that?
it's just, is it puffing out white smoke, or
Yeah, it's pretty white.
you think it's oil burning, or no? No chance of that.
I don't think so.
No.
It's really thick. Thick smoke.
Well, that's definitely a mystery. I don't see the coolant going down in the radiator. You said it was just
No. I flushed it out a couple times.
thinking that maybe it was dirty or something.
Yeah. I never really checked.
It's hard to get to, kind of.
Yeah.
Take off that side plastic. It's just weird because the oil's not milky. I don't get that. It doesn't make any sense. Was it milky before you changed it?
No.
That really doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Just gonna try to start it one more time.
Didn't help much or what?
That's weird. That's really
You
weird.
think that's antifreeze smoke?
It smells sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It smells like maple syrup, kind of. I think that might be antifreeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Kind of sounds like it stopped because of the crank.
Yeah.
Like it's locking up, you know? Huh. For like me to like break even, I'm gonna have to go like 16, and that's high.
Yeah.
I just bought one for $1,000 that needed a crank, and I pretty much broke even on that one. So that would be sparing you. 16 would be like high on it if it needs a crank, which more than likely, by the sounds of it locking up like that, it's a rod bearing. So I'm pretty comfortable with the 16, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
16 and a 200 possibly later.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll shake on that.
All right. Cool. Sounds good.
Like my flashlight back.
Oh yeah, nice flashlight. All right, we got the quad in the back. You guys probably heard in the video, but I actually owned this quad about a year ago, to this day. He said he bought it from me when I was living at my other house, and he said he put a new front bumper on it, he put new front tires on it. He said he rode it about 3 times, and then it started having issues. He said in that time period, he changed the oil and did an oil filter change. It actually started up there for a little bit, then like randomly shut off. But you could hear a little ticking in the top end, which is either valves or cam chain, or it could be the crank, which would be, you know, the worst case scenario. So on these 2004, 2005, and 2006 YFZs, they don't have that oil mod. So I paid $1,800 for it. All right, it's the next morning. Let's go get this quad off the truck here. Let's go check it out. So it's registered for 2024. That's awesome. This thing looks really nice. Brand new front tires. Look at that. Brand spanking new. The guy said this thing did not leak at all. He said it was sitting for a couple months and didn't drop a bit of anything. I asked him if it leaked coolant or oil. He said no. So that's good. There's the new front bumper on it. I don't know what brand that is. We'll have to check. Chain looks a little rusty. Let's see. Is there any coolant in there? There's no coolant in here. That's not good. Looks like a new tail light on there too. Pretty sweet quad. So I actually owned this quad before, and I remember when I first bought it, I think I paid 1,200 bucks for it. And it was having problems with the carb. It was jetted at like a 155, and I think I changed it to like a 165, and it was still running lean, so I changed it to a 180, and then it was running pretty good. So I left it at that, and I wasn't having any other problems that I remember. I remember I put a Pro X piston in there, and I changed out the water pump seal. So this thing was pretty solid. The guy ended up putting the Elba Racing front bumper on it, and I believe this gas cap right here. And then taking a look underneath the seat, I think he put the tail light on there as well. This thing's got a MotoWorks SR4 exhaust system on it. It's not the full exhaust. Looks like that came off too. Let's take a look and see if there's an air filter in here. So it looks like all the electronics are here. Solenoid looks good, battery looks good. Take a look in here. Yeah, nice air filter in there. It's all oiled up. It's looking good. See if there's any oil or coolant getting by down here. Doesn't look like it. Looks like the battery melted at one point. Check that out. Now check the oil there. It didn't look milky at all. So it doesn't really make sense if it was burning coolant. Oh, what's this stuff right here? White powdery residue on the exhaust. What would that be from? Huh. Milky, you know? If this thing had a blown head gasket, or say a crack in the cylinder, you'd have milky oil, because that coolant would be going right past that hole into the engine. I wonder if he just topped it off to make it not look milky, because that's all fresh oil on the top there. But I wonder if I dig deeper, if it's milky. No, it doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty clear. That's so weird. Because I'm gonna be stumped on it. If it's burning coolant and we don't have milky oil, I don't know what this would be. Because that's pretty clear. We'll have to run it for a bit and just check it. We'll run it for a good 10 minutes and check, unless the oil's not circulating. And let's just try to start this thing up and see what that smoke looks like. All right, let's see if she'll fire up here. can smell like a sweet smell, like coolant. But you can see it burning through there. That's interesting. I don't know if you guys can see the white smoke coming out. Smells like coolant or like maple syrup. Not wanting to idle, I can tell you that. There is also a ticking in the top end. I think it's just valves though. Could you hear the ticking in the top end? It backfires a ton without the choke on. But the smoke clears up, which is weird. But yeah, it seems like it's running really lean. I'm wondering if that mid-body carburetor gasket's gone and just letting air in. That could definitely be the issue. Because I think right now it's got 180 in there for the main, if I remember correctly. And that's really high. What we can do is try to tighten down right here, because there might be an exhaust leak right here happening. And that's might be why it's popping so much. But we'll tighten that down and see if that popping goes away. But we'll check the oil after we run it for a little bit more. We gotta check the coolant too. Make sure there's some in there. All right, we ran this thing for about 5 minutes here. Let's check what the oil looks like now. Oh, what do you know? It's all milky. Huh. We were bamboozled. Look how milky that is. Jeez. Yeah, that's not good. Holy cow. She's a little milky. So now it makes sense. You know, now this is making sense. So if it is burning coolant, and that's what that is that we're smelling and seeing out of the exhaust, then that would make sense. So it would be going into the engine, mixing with the oil and turning the canister white. I thought it wasn't turning the oil milky, and therefore that would be impossible to be burning coolant. So I thought maybe it was just a simple carb problem. But no, now it's milky. I was up all night trying to think of like what this could possibly be if the oil wasn't milky. And sure enough, the oil's milky, so now it all makes sense. That is funny. Here, cap. Let's pop that open. I don't think there's anything in there anyway. If there is, it's gonna splash all over me. Yeah, I think he emptied it out. Yeah, there's nothing in there, I don't think. Get a flashlight, look in there. Yeah, there's nothing in there at all. Nothing at all in there. Well, I'm glad I ran it for so long without coolant. That's great. That is great. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, there's a little bit of coolant in there. A little bit of the Arctic blue. Not a whole lot. Wow. Pretty much nothing in there. About a cup of coolant. Wow. That's enough to cool the system down. Let's get the front plastics off, the gas tank out of here, and get to that spark plug. All right, before we take the gas tank off, let's see if this thing's getting gas. Because it seemed like it only was running with the choke on. Oh yeah, pretty good gas flow. Okay, that was reserve. Let's see if on was working. Because it was down before. Yeah, good gas flow on as well. So, good gas flow all around. Looks like fresh gas in there. Yeah, no leaking from up here at all. All right, let's get this plug out. This will tell us a lot. Should be interesting to see. You see those like little like white flakes? Looks like it was burning coolant or something. See that? It's kind of like if you have a coolant leak on the side of your quad and you let it sit for a couple days, it gets like that crusty looking stuff, kind of like dried coolant. That's kind of what it looks like on the tip of the plug. But we'll have to see. We'll do a leak down test to confirm. Another thing we can try is just turning this thing over, holding the towel down, and seeing if any coolant comes onto the towel. So what we can do is go like this, shove that down there, and if it's wet, when we take the towel out, more than likely there's coolant coming through. Oh, look at that. Look at all that. Here. Yeah. Cam chain's nice and tight. That feels good. Wow, is that milky in there? Huh. Yeah, just a tad milky in there. We're on the left-hand side of the machine. That was pretty loose on there. Ooh, that's like broken off. Look at that. The cap like broke. That one is too. What is up with that? Look at that. It's like disintegrating the plastic. It's almost like it melted. A 17mm socket, rotate this thing around until we hit top dead center. We can just go off of the timing on the top here. Should be right there. Yep. That's literally perfect. On the YFZs, they've got the 2 lines and then the 1 line. So it's going to be the 1 line. Can you see it? There's 2 lines to the left and then there's a single line to the right. You want to go to the furthest right line. And we're right on the money. That lines up that notch right there. You can see it right here in the case. And then up at the top here, you can see there's going to be a dot right there, right there, right there, and then right up here. Where is it? Right there. So our timing is spot on. Perfect timing. Alright, checking the valve clearances for the exhaust. We're going to be at 0.008 to 0.01. We've got the 0.01 inches on the feeler gauge right now. That's the highest setting you want to be at. And I can barely get that in to the exhaust side. So exhausts are perfect. You can see it's just like you have to really push to get those in there. See that? I can barely get those in. So these are perfect right here. These are probably set to 0.009, right about there. So those are perfectly within spec. Let's check the intake side. Alright, so the intake side, we're supposed to be at 0.004 to 0.006 inches. We've got the 0.006 inches for the feeler gauge. So that's at the high setting. So this setting should be very difficult to fit underneath the valves here. Let's just see. Okay, that's really loose. That's extremely loose. And that is extremely loose. So we're gonna go up a couple sizes. We've got the feeler gauge at 0.009. Let's see if they fit in there. Yep, that one does. That's not good. That one does. And that one does not. So these two are very loose. That one's really loose on the end. 0.011 inches now. Let's see if that fits. That one I don't think does. Nope. Oh, that one fits in that one. This one felt, oh, it does fit still. Just really hard. So these are about double the size they're supposed to be. So that's where you're hearing that ticking. It's just a very slight tick. But all these intake valves need to be changed. Alright, so the machine is set to top dead center right now. We've got a line going directly into the cylinder. If you're using your compression tester, you want to take out the little clip in there that holds the pressure so air can go directly down into the cylinder. So you want to plug that in there. And we're going to hook up 20 psi directly into the cylinder. And that's going to want to push down the piston. That's what we did. Just put a rod going down here to underneath the A-arms there. And that'll prevent it from turning over the engine. Now we're going to be looking for air out of the carburetor. If air is coming through the carburetor, that means the intake valves are either bent or not sealing properly. If it's coming out of the exhaust, if you hear air coming out of the exhaust in the back over here, that means the exhaust valves are not sealing properly. If you hear air coming out of the radiator, that means that the head gasket is blown or not sealing properly. And if air is coming out through the holes for the side case over here, that means your rings are letting air by. So let's hook up and see what we're dealing with here. moment of truth here. I can hook onto it. I can hear air in here. So air is coming up through there. And watch this, you put your finger in the radiator here. So it's being filled up with air. You guys hear the air coming through? So, looks like we've got a head gasket failure. You hear that air coming through? So, looks like we'll be tearing this thing down. Alright, so the carb we got out. We need to take off the header pipe, all the coolant lines, cam chain. We need to get the cams out of there, tensioner out, and then we should be able to get the head off of here. Tensioner. Just gonna take the whole thing out right away. You can see there's all brand new gaskets on everything. That gasket pretty much just disintegrated, ripped right off. So the tensioner, there's a little play in there, but nothing going back the other way. So that's fine. So you can't push in, because it pushes on the cam chain like that. And if it pushed back in, that would be bad. This one looks like it was stripped out of here. We're gonna have to retap that. Everything else looks good though. Ooh, that clip almost fell in. Everything looks good. What are you doing, Van? Want to come check out the bike? See what you think? Come on. What do you think, buddy? Do your walkthrough. I should have had him come out first. He would have found the issue right away. He's like, that looks like a head gasket. I'm out. He's like, that's way, way, way too much work for me. Oh yeah. exhaust cam coming out. Quick check over the bearings here. Bearings feels really, really smooth. Lobes look good. And then you want to check the decompression mechanism. Make sure that's springing back and moving. Don't want that to bind up. That looks good. And then you've got the intake cam. Same thing, bearing, nice and smooth. Lobes look perfect, looks like a brand new cam. So that one's good to go. Clamp off the pipe. Yep. Wonder if we'll see any coolant in here. That'll be interesting to see. See if anything dumps out here. Nope. Not that much. Alright, these head bolts are usually torqued down quite a bit, so using the breaker bar. Yeah, that was tight. That one wasn't that tight. That was pretty tight on there. Alright, we should be able to get this head out of here now. Let's see what happens. There we go. Take out the piston. Piston still looks good. You can see it says Pro X right in the corner, right here. Arrows pointing the right direction. The gasket, looks like we put some sealer on it. That could be the cause of why there's a blown head gasket. I think I put that copper stuff on there if I remember correctly. Surface looks good though. Everything looks pretty good. But it could very well be. Especially since that piston's above the cylinder like that. Let's see if the piston's fine too. If this thing had no coolant in it and you ran it like that, that's not good. So far, cylinder looks pretty good, I think. Cylinder doesn't look too bad. Alright, let's check out the rod here. No up and down play, a little bit of side to side. And I think the only reason this rod is still good is because of that right there. So this did have the oil mod done to it. You can see there's a little injector right here that squirts oil on that rod bearing. So that is awesome. This machine actually has it. I was hoping it would, and it does. So that's what that looks like right in there. The surface of the cylinder looks pretty good. I might just buy a brand new cylinder and piston for it. We'll see. I mean, everything looks good on the cylinder. No cracking, nothing like that. I believe this is a stock bore too. So I think the culprit is right here. See that little dip right there? It's not much, but it looks like some pitting going on in there. So I'm wondering if it's getting past that head gasket. I don't know. It must be. See this kind of view from it? See the pitting right there. Kind of dips lower. See that? But everywhere else is good, it looks like. Everything else looks good. So what we might have to do is just resurface this head. Well, we might have to send it out and just have them maybe fill in that little gap right there and then resurface the whole thing. If anyone knows or recommends a good shop that does this, let me know in the comments. I'll ship it out to you. Because heads for these are like non-existent. You can't find a new one. They're really hard to find. I think they only made new ones for like 2000 and up. So, if anyone knows who can do that, let me know. I believe I lapped in these valves when I previously owned it and did new valve seals as well. So those are all set to go. So I'm looking for any kinds of wear on the cylinder now, on the surface here. I'm not seeing anything. So it had to be that one spot on the head causing problems. Because everything looks really flat here. Looks good. So I don't think it was the cylinder. I think it was the head right there. What do you guys think? You think that could cause that problem? You can see how it kind of dips lower. And the piston looks great. I mean, it looks like it was barely used. Piston looks really good. All right, checking out the ring gap here. Here's the first ring. You can see the gap right there. I mean, it's pretty small, but push that down a little bit deeper into the cylinder here. Let's see what that measures out to be. Looks bigger than normal though. Let's see, is it 17 thousandths? A little bit bigger than 17. I think it's going to be 18. Yep. 18 thousandths for that ring gap for the first ring. Second ring going in. See what this one's at. Looks to be the exact same. Probably 18. Yep, exactly 18. So ring gap on those were 18 thousandths, which is fine. A little on the bigger side, but it wasn't smoking at all. All right, so that wraps up this one. We really lucked out that it wasn't the rod bearing that went. It actually looks like it has a different rod in here. It's a Pro X, if you look at it. See there, Pro X? So this rod was replaced at one point and then updated with the oil mod. So that's why that is still going strong. I think what we're gonna do is resurface the head. It's probably gonna be $100 to $300 to do that. New piston and cylinder, probably around 400 bucks for that top end kit. And I guess that probably comes with the gasket kit, so I can probably mark that off. It's typically a gasket kit's around 40 bucks. We're gonna do the water pump shaft and seal, because those always go out on these. That's about 40 bucks. And then brand new oil, around 30 bucks for a new oil filter and oil. And then we're gonna do the carburetor mid-body gasket kit. I think that's like 25 bucks, maybe a little bit more. So total came out to be like right around 800 bucks to rebuild the whole thing and have this thing like brand new. So all the valves are perfect in here. I went and checked all those before. Those are all good. Everything else checks out besides the really, besides the surface. So if you wanted to do it the cheap way, you could just resurface it and put it back together and this thing would be running fine. So really, you could probably get away with like a $100 to $300 fix for this quad. But anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video today and learned something along the way. There's always a mystery involved with these things, and tearing them down is always pretty fun. You never know what's gonna go wrong with them. Until next time guys, we are out.